after the
Okay.
Okay. You got this. Episode 2.
Okay, I got it.
Starting.
Okay, now. Hey guys, welcome back to episode 2 of Here's to Perspective. We finally decided on a name, so we went with perspective because that's kind of the word that drew inspiration to this whole podcast idea. We kind of wanted to do a reflection on last week's episode because it was our very first one.
Yeah.
And we shared it to a lot of our family and friends. You can start out with some of the comments that you had.
I thought it was really exciting. Like after I'm keeping this in. After working on the podcast, I just thought it was really cool to see how a lot of people responded in similar ways and in different ways. Like, I remember a lot of my friends texting me like, oh, like, it's so cool to hear about attachment styles. Like, I'm this one, or I relate to this one a lot. Or even just talking about, like, our voices.
Yeah.
We got quite a few about that, which is weird because I don't really like my talking voice.
I don't either, and I think everybody's like that where they don't like their own voice.
At least listening back to it.
Yeah, but it's funny because I've been told that I've had a very soothing voice. I remember very distinctly.
You had something special with your roommates, right?
Yes. Shout out to my roommates, Leah and Jaden. You guys are amazing. Like, I literally came home from a really long day from class and stuff. It was like 8 p.m. at night, and I found little letters underneath my bedroom door that they just wrote to me, basically telling me how much they love the podcast and how they're like super proud of me for putting this together. So that literally made my entire day. I was like, I'm so appreciative of them. So love you guys.
Yay. We love you, Leah and Jaden.
Oh yeah,
behind the scenes.
Yes. Oh my gosh. What you guys don't see, unfortunately, we could probably make a whole other series on what just happened.
A vlog. Because if you were sitting on the couch where we're sitting, and you see what the phone camera is like being balanced on,
our point of view, spilt in like a lot of oats on the floor.
And it's because we were using the oatmeal container as a stand. Yeah. Because literally, it was very it's nice, heavy, and like.
Yes, it was sturdy, but the lid decided to come off right when I was trying to set it on a table, and oats just went everywhere.
Yes.
So we just spent like 20 minutes cleaning that up. Our current setup is a karaoke machine, a brown Amazon-looking box, Kellogg's cereal box. Sponsor us, Kellogg's, please. And then none other than our mighty potted elephant plant thingy holding up.
We used that last time, so maybe it'll be a tradition, but it is hard to stay serious looking at the camera and just seeing all those things stacked up on top of each other.
But we're making it work. Podcasting on a budget.
What were we saying? We were saying humble beginnings, right?
Yes, humble beginnings.
This is very, homemade, but I like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes it unique. But maybe one day we'll like invest on a tripod and then we'll look back on this.
We might need to,
Yeah. But for now, Kellogg's box is doing the job, and so is Mr. Elephant.
I had work training today. I work in the Student Writing Center on campus, and we had a seminar all about well-being and mindfulness, and just like staying sane and keeping a good work-life balance. And so with that, I thought it would be good to talk about what really is self-care during this podcast, and also just both of us being people pleasers. How does that tie into self-care and just balancing things out? And maybe some practical tips that we could think of and offer to you guys near the end. But for that, just super quickly, what is something that you are grateful for today?
Oh, yes. I'm grateful for the support of my family and friends. I think this week it was a very busy and crazy week for me, but little things that, like the things that my roommates have done for me throughout this week, and then obviously there's been other family related things that I've needed my family support for, so definitely family and friends have been my backbone for this week.
Yeah.
And weeks to come, obviously.
I was gonna say that too. I don't know what's been in the air lately, but at least in this apartment, everyone's been going through it, just like with school and just the weather being kind of gloomy. It's all taken in effect, so just thank you to my friends here at GB. Like, y'all have seen me at my worst and best, so thank you. And then also, of course, my family. And just hearing about how we were able to, like, make moments in people's day. Yeah. Like, from hearing the podcast. It's very wholesome. Yes. And it makes us want to, you know, obviously work harder.
Yes. Continuing. Yes.
Yeah. I can start with this car meditation that I learned during the seminar, which you're probably confused if you're watching this, but I will walk both you guys and Amber through this. So if you want to do this mindfulness activity, it takes like 2 minutes. You can join and just get in a comfortable position. Okay, so you're in a car. Imagine, does the car have dents or chips? Is the car damaged at all? And now think about the gas tank in the car. Is it halfway? Is it empty? Is it really full? Along with the gas tank question, now move on to the speed of the car. How fast are you driving? Or are you even driving? Are you like parked somewhere? Are you driving slowly? How many miles per hour, if you want to be that specific? And going back to the inside of the car, what kind of music do you have on? Or more so, whose voices are the loudest right now in your life? Is it yourself? Are you kind of beating yourself up? Or is it the voices of your family and friends? Are they encouraging you or putting pressure on you? Or is it simply just a certain song that you like or a certain music genre that you're playing in the back? And the last part of this car meditation is, as you're driving down the road, think about your view facing forward. Where are you driving towards? Think about some goals that you have coming up, or some dreams and goals that you have in the far future. The last part is the rear view of the car. Think about the things that are in the past. What's behind you? What things have you come through? What have you accomplished and come out stronger of? And anything recent that you have worked through, or just have had a hard time or a really good time with a certain experience. So I wasn't as like smooth and whatever as the speaker during my work seminar, but that was basically the car meditation that we did, just using imagery and using an analogy of a car to relate to our lives. At least for me, I thought it was really good, because I tend to just think about what's next and get in the habit of like, okay, the to-do list is just gonna run my life right now.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
So yeah, I hope you like that car meditation, and we can talk about our cars and where they're at. So
yes,
do you want to share?
Sure.
Do you think that was helpful in any way?
Yeah, that was. I really like the mirror ones, because I'm gonna be honest, when I'm thinking about like the gas tank and stuff, for a second I like zoned out and was thinking about my actual car, and I was like, she's got a quarter tank.
She's like, wait, I gotta go to the gas station. Hold up.
But yeah, I can go through each one of these points. So gas tank probably currently is like at like 75%.
That's good.
Yeah, not bad. Like, I think as the week goes on, it's gonna go down a quarter a day, honestly.
That's expected.
Yeah. Any chips or dents? Not really at the moment. Nothing like crazy that I feel like in my life that has left anything like that's left me like really in a certain way. Definitely a little bit though.
Okay.
Certain little situations.
Yeah.
And then speed. Gosh, I feel like this one's hard, because I feel like the days or the weeks go by really fast, but each day feels long. So it's like I'm in like every day I have so much to do, so I feel like I am going fast, and sometimes I feel like I'm going too fast, you know?
Me too.
You know, when you're like on the highway and like you're trying to catch up to other people and your speed reaches something faster than
you look at the dashboard and you're like
oh my gosh, like I need to slow down. That's me on some days. I feel like my to-do list is like never ending. It's always like I get things done, I clear it, and the next day it's full again.
Yeah.
So I'm just like can't catch a break. Radio, whose voices, I think
or even just music.
a lot. Yeah. I think a lot myself. I'm in my own head a lot nowadays because when I have so much to do, I feel like sometimes it's hard for me to shut my brain off at night because I'm always thinking like, what could I have done better today? What is something I need to do tomorrow? What is this and that? But music, oh my gosh. SZA's album we've talked about.
Yeah.
SOS. That thing has literally been on repeat.
If ticket prices go down even the slightest, we'll be there.
We'll be there, SZA. But I think these mirror ones are good for like reflection.
Yeah.
Like looking ahead, obviously bigger picture things. I've been thinking a lot about bigger picture things, like what to do after graduation, because
you're closer to it than me.
Creeping up on me. Me and my roommate Leah were talking about this, and it's like actually kind of scary that like
it is scary.
We got to do like big girl things. Like school is like done. You know, the comfort of being a college student or a full-time student is gone. You know,
a sort of regular routine.
Exactly. So that's definitely like my future, where I want to move after I graduate. All of that stuff. So I've been thinking big picture, and I'm trying to kind of like put the brakes on a little bit because it's kind of freaking me out.
Put the brakes. You're using the analogy.
Yes, I'm trying. Because it has been like overwhelming because the possibilities are endless, but at the same time it's just like a lot to think about all at once.
It's
so
easy
I'm trying
to get overwhelmed, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I'm trying to be like, okay, maybe don't look a year in advance, just look at tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah. The end of the week. And then rear view, just some things that I've accomplished. I think this one's really good because, like you said, I think a lot of times we're go, go, go. What's the next thing I have to do? I finished this thing. What's next?
You don't even have time to be like, you got through that. You were capable of what you just did.
Exactly. Reflecting on, funny fact, this week I actually quit my part-time job that I had because it was just too much. It was very overwhelming for me. And looking back on it, I don't regret it. I think it was probably the best decision I can make for myself, and I'm glad that I did it like early on. So if you're struggling with something like this where you feel like you might be taking on too much, don't stress yourself out. Nothing is worth like losing your sanity over or like your mental health over. So let it go if you must. Whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be a job. It can be a person, it can be a thing, it can be anything. So whatever it is. It can even be something intangible, like negative thoughts.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow, I needed that.
Yes.
Thank you. That was good. I feel like I relate to you very much with my little car too. I imagine a red car for some reason. That doesn't even matter to the whole like well-being check, but yeah, gas tank. I feel like after this week it's honestly probably like 40-50%. But I mean, we're gonna talk about the purpose of like recharging and like giving yourself grace, which I'm trying to do this past couple days on the weekend. It's a Sunday? Yes, Sunday. It's a Sunday today. Speed, I'm the same way. I think me and you both are very planner type people, and which isn't bad, you know. It keeps you organized and in check most of the time, but it also causes me to have trouble being in the present. Acknowledging the good things that have passed.
It's like tunnel vision almost.
Tunnel vision, exactly. Ooh, the car. Okay.
Yes. I got my analogies down.
I like it. Radio, same thing myself. Like, it's not really like my parents or family, like they're not really like telling me like you have to meet this expectation. Right. It's more so me putting on myself like
I agree.
Like you can do this, like keep going until I'm just drained and now I don't know what to do.
Until you crash, which hopefully that never happens.
Yeah, or you blow a tire or something.
Exactly.
So, and then ahead view. I'm thinking about the summer, which is not as far as graduating, but just because I'll be back home on the east side of Michigan and what jobs to take up. I want to work in the hospital. Yes. Ooh. And then rear view, it's good to think about, well, even just sitting here in my apartment, like, wow, like, I'm getting through college. Like, just even that in itself, where I'm living alone independently, I'm cooking for myself, like managing my water and gas bills, for example, and stuff like that. Like, you're doing fine, Faith. Like,
yes, you
keep
are.
on cruising.
You are.
And the whole purpose of the car thing is really just to be intentionally quiet and reflective, because if you're just on autopilot the whole week, like, you're gonna go insane. You're gonna go crazy and run out of gas however much you have.
Yes. Oh, awesome analogy.
Yeah. And onto that, I was going to ask, were there times where you realized you were giving out more energy than you had to other people? Like, for the sake of just fear of being disliked, or the desire to just have someone be proud of you, or just... or even, like, with the love language of service or something like that, and, like, taking that into action. Like, what is your extent of being a people pleaser? Do you think upbringing has anything to do with that? Like, what's your take on it?
So I think I did this much more in high school, and actually something transitioning from high school to college. I actually wrote an essay for this for a scholarship. Was how I got better at saying no. Because that was a huge problem. I think I really burned myself out in high school because I could never say no. And to people, to just, like, doing things. And I think I slowly realized the hard way, unfortunately, like, what you give to other people is not always what they're going to give back.
Right, it won't always be reciprocated.
Exactly. And I think that really hurt me, and I didn't understand that concept, because I was like, well, why wouldn't they? It must be because they don't like me.
Like, something's wrong with me.
Exactly. So then I ended up, I feel like, just being a doormat for people to just step on.
And I don't really realize it in the moment.
Exactly. And I'm looking back, I'm like, wow, that was, like, really, really draining. I remember, I forgot who I was talking to about this, but I remember saying vividly, like, I'm so tired. Like, I'm just not, like, physically tired. I'm just, like, I'm tired of just bending over backwards and, like, wanting people to like me all the way. Yeah, I know. And I'm just like, what is wrong with me? It's draining me. You know, going back to the whole, like, if it's making you really, like, not like yourself, it's making you feel really down about yourself, or you feel just, like, so mentally drained, nothing is worth that. No amount of money is worth that. No person is worth that. Nothing is worth that. So at some point you just have to learn to say no, because it's like, enough's enough. You can't be there for everybody. You can't be everyone's hero. You can't be everybody's best friend. So, like, quit trying to do that to yourself, because you're just hurting yourself at the end of the day.
That's so good. And that, I honestly, I just realized that, like, this year, because coming into college, at least for me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fun, all these things to try, and, you know, a job and new friends and all these new people. I want to be close to all of them and whatever. I don't want to say no to these plans, but then I also want to study a lot, and I was a very big yes man last year, even last semester at some points. So realizing that saying yes all the time is not worth it is so important, and can really, honestly, it can be life-changing. It is life-changing.
It is.
And another thing I wrote in my notes is the power of protecting your peace, and that kind of relates to, like, what you were saying about sacrificing yourself. It's not worth it. It's not worth your peace, basically.
Yes.
In my work training, the speaker was saying that peace is a position of power, and once you realize that, you should take time and effort to set boundaries to keep that, maintain that, and cultivate that peace, because without it, you're just going to become a doormat.
I love that.
There's always going to be another person to please, or another thing to add on to your accomplishments, or anything like that.
Yeah, because you're only one person, and there's millions and millions and billions of people out there. Like, you can't please everybody. That preserving that peace is so important, because when people see you, they recognize that. and you'll start to be like, you'll see that people start to come to you more instead of you always pursuing and you always chasing. If you're peaceful, people see that you're a stable person and that you don't need other people, but people want to be with you, so they try to interact with you because they see, oh, like they have a calming presence, they have a good vibe, and they're obviously happy with themselves and stuff, and they're like okay with not having to like always have to chase people and stuff, because that is exhausting.
I was going to say, like, some of the stuff may seem cliche, but I feel like this past couple of months I've really been realizing, like, oh my gosh, I understand now all these cliche things that people are saying, like, oh, like, put time aside for yourself, and oh, don't always say yes, and there's power in saying no. I didn't really understand that in high school or even in freshman year last year, because I was like, but I love serving people. That's how I like to show my love. Or
me too.
Or like, in my head, it's like, if I'm not doing enough, like, let's say if I'm not working enough or doing this in school or clubs or whatever, then I'm just not, like, interesting or, I don't know, smart or whatever lie that I'm telling myself. So for a while, I just wanted to be like, no, I'm a strong, independent woman, like, I can do all this and I can give all this. But again, it's just not realistic.
Right.
So if you do find yourself realizing, like, man, I kind of dug myself in a hole, it's also not a bad thing at all to ask for help or just reach out to a friend and kind of open up in that sense and let them know how you're doing. I love being the listener, like the listener friend, and I'll be like, oh, like, tell me all your problems, I want to help you. But when it comes to me, it's like, no, let me just, like, figure this out on my own.
I think I resonate with that a lot, but I think this past, like, year, I think it comes back to, like, also finding the right group of friends. I think my friends have really helped me be like, hey, like, I'm actually legitimately here for you. And now if I'm going through something, I want to tell them about it. Before, where I'm like, I don't really know if this person will actually really care, or, like, I know that the advice they're going to give me is not going to be really genuine. Whereas now I'm like, I know, like, I'm really close with my 2 roommates, and like, I know genuinely anytime I go to them for advice, like, they give me good advice. Like, before, I've had, like, not, you know, I don't want to roast anybody, but so I've had some not so great friendships in the past where it's like, I know if I go to them, like, I can almost already know what they're gonna say, because I'm like, and that's not gonna help me, because I already know, like, it's not, like, genuine, or you're not giving me 110% honesty too, because I think that's really important. A lot of times people like to sugarcoat things, and for me, it's like, if you're my real friend, like, you just give it to me, and you're probably good. Like, a lot of times, one of my roommates, she always prefaces with, this is gonna hurt, but it's okay. She's like, this is gonna hurt, but, like, this is honestly what I think and what I think you should do. And I'm like, that's great. I will take that advice. That's honestly what a real friend is. Yeah, I was like, I'll take you out when you need. Exactly. I'll take that advice any day of the week. But I wanted to bring up something. I think, going back a little backtracking, but you were like, you it's hard to say no because you always want to say yes to this and that when it comes to people or doing things. I think that also comes from lack of being just, like, happy with yourself. So you try to reach out to other sources to try to find and fill that emptiness. Wow. You know? That's good. I think it's kind of like a psychological thing too, because you're not happy and you're not stable and you're not fulfilled with yourself. So you're like, oh, maybe if I do this thing, it's going to make me feel that. If I hang out with these people and they like me, then I'm going to feel that. You know? But whereas if you're happy with yourself and you're working on self-love, self-peace, self-care, you're not going to go looking for it elsewhere. You have that peace because you already have it. Exactly. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's so good. I love the way you're able to connect things during this. For real. This again. I said this before, but this is like therapy. Yes. Oh my gosh. Wait. That's so good. That makes sense. Why in college? That first year, last year for me. Oh yeah. I wanted to do everything because also too I didn't truly
find myself yet. I mean, I'm still working through it, but I have like a clearer sense now, just with time and growing older, and realizing my preferences and all of that self-discovery stuff.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, that's so true, because you go out looking for a missing piece without looking to yourself first.
Yeah. Right.
I heard this on a YouTube video somewhere. I don't remember who. It was like, if you look for happiness from outside sources, you're never gonna find happiness.
Yeah.
Only temporary feelings.
Yeah.
Which I think relates well to what you
Yeah,
were talking
because
about.
like people can always come and go, but you're stuck with yourself. So if you're not happy with yourself and you start adding these external elements to try to fill these holes, these external things are not guaranteed ever. Doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter if it's your mom, your dad. Like, unfortunately, like people leave this world, or people just leave your life.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't even have to be like they pass away or anything, but like things come and go. But the one thing you can guarantee is that you always have yourself. So you have to fill your own cup first.
Woo!
Yeah, so you have to fill your own cup first, because nobody can ever fill it for you for the rest of your life, because nobody's guaranteed to be with you for the rest of your life, but only you are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're like on fire today. That's good. Even this past week was a rough one. Just that seasonal depression is kind of kicking in.
Oh gosh.
This past week, and I noticed that, you know, I was trying to be my usual, like, oh, let me help you here, or let me do this for you with my friends, and I realized I was instead just being more cranky every time I tried to help someone, because I never took the time in this past week to just sit down and be like, you are tired, you can't go out trying to help people when you yourself are drained and have nothing to give. Whatever you do try to give, you're just gonna project that you're unhappy now. You
overextending yourself.
Yeah.
It's real, and it's hard because for people like us, where we want to do those acts of service and we want to go the extra mile for people, because that's just like who we are. But then it's like, oh, but I'm also kind of, my hands are full, like legitimately full. And I'm the same way, like I feel myself getting very impatient, and it frustrates me because I'm like, I can do better, and I don't want people to see this side of me.
Yes.
But I'm literally so overwhelmed that this is the only way I can help you and like fulfill my need to please people. But it's like, but I don't have to do that, you know. You can be like, I'm sorry, I'm tired, I'm busy. And like it's hard to admit that because you don't want to, because it makes you seem like weak or vulnerable, whatever. But I think we should start to normalize that. Being tired, mentally or physically, it doesn't matter what kind of week you've had, because sometimes you can have a really busy week and be energized and it doesn't hit you till 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
You don't have to have an excuse. You don't have to be like, oh, it's because I worked 5 jobs this week.
Or have something big and traumatic.
Exactly. You can just feel like I'm tired, and you don't have to justify it. It's just like protecting yourself.
It's really hard when you want to help someone, especially that you care about, like your friends or family, for example. Because yes, with insecurity, you want to people please everyone you run into. But you could even be like somewhat secure with yourself, but then find yourself being like, oh man, like dug myself in a hole again trying to please my mom or please my dad, or just even, you know, I don't know, trying to be a good friend or something like that. At least for me, being the oldest, it's like it's really hard for me to shake that off all the way. And sometimes I find myself in seasons where I'm like, oh wow, I'm overstepping, I'm overfilling my plate. Right. Like no one's really telling me you have to do all this and go to these lengths. But it's that older sibling in me that's like, nope, I can do this, like I can push through, or I can accomplish this. Right. And it's hard to realize and shake it off and open up to people, because again, or at least for me, that older sibling complex, like you don't really share that stuff with your little siblings.
Ever since I was young, I was always known as the super sweet, friendly, caring, perfect person. So for me, I didn't want to disturb that image. And like as I grown older, you know, obviously I've grown into a personality and I have my own opinions and stuff, and I know a lot of times my parents always tell me, oh, you've changed. And for me that really hurts, because it's like I still want to be that person, but it's unrealistic to be the same naive like 5-year-old girl I was, you know, back then. I still want to be perceived as caring, nice, all these things. Yeah. But it's like, but I'm not perfect. And it's just like I can't pretend to be this person that I was when I was like 10 years old, you know, and I had no worries, no stress in the world. I haven't seen what the world is like. I haven't had any experiences yet. So for me, it was like not disturbing that image. That was like, yeah, I'm perfect, so I can handle everything. I can't ask for help, because God forbid, like it's gonna make me seem like I'm not that strong and I'm not that great and stuff. So that was what I think affects me the most, because like I don't know why, but people always have this perceived image of me as being like everything, and I'm like I'm just not.
It's just not a bad thing.
Yeah, I know it's not. Yeah, and I shouldn't take that. It is a compliment, but it is exactly. It's definitely like, oh geez, like I have this image, I'm gonna try to keep it up. But at the same time, it's like now I've come to a point in my life where I'm like, okay, well, it's kind of unrealistic. Like I'm not perfect all the time, and all I can hope is to at least be like a good person and stuff. But if I make mistakes, like, oh well, if I need to ask for help, oh well, you know. Yeah.
And I was going to say, with you wanting to keep that perfect image of yourself for other people so much when you were younger, I think that's when you kind of start living your life for other people.
Oh,
you know?
Yes.
You fall into that trap.
Yes.
And then that's when you ask yourself, like, what am I doing? I can reclaim myself and find my peace again.
Perfect. Yeah. I don't mind learning things. Some things I think are better if they're learned the hard way. It builds character, as it would say.
Character development.
Yes. But yeah, no, I think all of these things that we're talking about, like self-care, self-love, saying no, just because you're getting better at it doesn't mean that you don't work at it every day. It's still a very, like, you wake up in the morning and it's a decision and it's a choice you have to make over and over every single day. It's not like you wake up one day and naturally you're like,
you can't just transform.
It's fixed. Or even if you feel like you've gotten to that point where I'm like, I'm not that person anymore, still every single day you still have to work at it, and you still have to make that decision every single day. So it's definitely a process.
Yes.
So don't give up on it. Don't give up on yourself. But I think working on it every day helps make it easier to make that choice every day, to make it more of a habit.
Yeah. I agree. That's good. Like, and also that's comforting in a sense that every day you have to make that commitment, because it's like, okay, well, if things didn't go my way or things didn't really go as planned today, or I'm not really feeling well, that's okay. Every day is a new day, a new start, a new chance at different opportunities. My last question was, what do you usually do for self-care? Does that look different now? Was it different before? Did you even invest in self-care before? Or are you working through it?
Definitely do it a lot more now. Oh my gosh, it's probably actually concerning how much I enjoy being alone sometimes.
No, it's so...
Oh my gosh.
Introverts.
Yeah, especially now that I'm like, this semester, like Monday through Friday, I'm always with people, whether it's in hospitals, like patients, or I'm with people that work there, with my classmates, very closely interacting with people like all day, morning to night. So then by the weekend, it's like, I don't even want to go out. Like, people are like, the weekends when you go partying and all this stuff. I said, I want to invest in myself, actually.
Yeah.
I just want to stay inside and I just do my own thing. I don't even really want to talk to anybody. It's not because I don't want to talk to you. It's just because I want to be with myself.
It's a necessity.
In silence, in my own thoughts. Yeah. I listen to music. I do like a whole like skincare thing, you know. And then I read books. I, do a little bit of planning. Sometimes I do some. I've been trying to get better at journaling. It's I like ones with like prompts, because for me, when I want to do something for self-care, I want it to kind of be brainless almost. So I don't. Sometimes if I just have a blank
notebook,
notebook,
too much brain
yeah,
energy.
if I have a blank notebook, I don't even know where to start sometimes. So I like having guided journals. It helps a lot. And then also just calling people. So like my grandparents, sometimes I'll call them, or I'll call my mom, or my friend from all the way back home, and stuff like that. So, and also working out. I love working out by myself. Sometimes I'll just spend like an hour and a half just like at the gym, and it just really helps.
That's good.
To like relieve my stress and clear my head and like forget about. Actually, it just helps me forget about everything for like that hour or so.
Yeah, that idea of forgetting yourself in a certain activity. We actually talked about this in my work seminar.
Oh,
it's called practicing deep play. Because you can do things for self-care and call it self-care, like watching a movie, for example, can be self-care, but you're not really
working on yourself,
releasing anything, or you're kind of just stimulating your brain, just kind of numbing it for a second. But when you talk about forgetting about everything in the sense of working out, for example, like you're still investing in yourself, like it's still something good for you, and taking care of your body, for example, in this context. In different stages of life too, different things may work and different things may not work the same as they did in a past season of life.
Right.
I really like just playing on my guitar sometimes, and investing in hobbies like this, podcasting, and I also like cooking. I got into that recently.
Yeah, honestly, meal prepping, I really get into it. Every week,
fun.
Couple hours, I just zone out and I just do my thing.
Yeah, it's refreshing to do that stuff.
Grocery shopping too, low key, is kind of
It
relaxing.
depends. If I'm stressed before grocery shopping, it might stress me out more.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it depends.
Yeah,
it can be fun sometimes. But yeah, that's interesting. And you said going to the gym is a big one.
Yes.
It's really weird, Niti, if you're watching this, because she's helping me kind of be more consistent with the gym, because it was one of my goals for this new year. One of those people. But in all seriousness, I am trying to be consistent, and at first it's like, oh man, Niti, I don't want to be here, can I go?
Yeah,
but
it's hard to start.
Now, after it's been a little while, like even though it's only been a little while, I'm finding myself looking forward to going at the end of the day, like,
that's good.
Like now it's gym time, and even if it doesn't even have to be like something super intense, like lifting really heavy weights or something. Even if it's just, let's say I start off with cardio and I put my music on, and even that is very therapeutic and refreshing in itself.
I think once it becomes a habit, like now it's like, I want to go. Or like if I'm feeling really like I can't sit still and I'm not focusing my homework, I'm like, I'm gonna go to the gym, like it'll fix this. And so I'm glad that you're sticking with it.
It's so weird.
Helps me a lot.
I told Nita, I was like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm kind of looking forward to going later.
Yes. Some of my friends probably really hate me for doing this, but putting your phone on Do Not Disturb.
I do that at night,
I'm really bad. Okay, I'm trying to get better now that I'm at school so much, so I'm not on my phone as much, so I just turn it on just so that I get notifications, or else I probably won't even look at my phone. But like last semester, all semester, I would keep my phone on Do Not Disturb all day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like all day. It helps you kind of almost forget, because I think subconsciously you're always wanting to check your phone. Once you don't get those notifications anymore, you almost forget about it.
Yeah.
And that's good.
I agree.
It's good for your brain.
That's good. Disconnect from devices for even a little bit, even if it's like during the night or something.
Yeah, a couple hours before you go to bed.
It makes a difference.
It does. I hope that we gave you a little bit more insight again, and hopefully this podcast helps you out in some kind of way. If anything, it gave us our weekly therapy session.
Literally,
so
free therapy.
We're winning either way.
Yes. And with that, I think we will close this episode. Hopefully you were able to gain new perspectives on certain things, trying to incorporate the title.
Yes.
Signing out, Faith and Amber. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Peace.